G'day YouTube, QuietPenguin here, back for some more matchup analysis with my Handlock deck. So today we're up against a mage, and we're on the play for game one. Alright, so here we're just going to get rid of the Sludge Belcher. This is probably the first play that we're going to make a Twilight Drake, and then we really want the heal in this matchup so that MechMage decks can't burn us down. So generally they might get one turn to do it, but then if they don't have it that turn, then we should be able to heal back up with the heal bot. So we're going to keep that one here, and let's see what we get. A zombie chow, perfect. Alright, so now we've got a nice early drop to go with the rest of our cards. It's not the best draw in the world though. Alright, remember guys that this series is a little bit different from my MechMage series. There will be a second game after this so that you guys can get a bit of a better feel for each matchup. I've had some people messaging me asking me to do more videos against the same classes, so here it is. So here we're just going to life tap and attack face. So we don't really want to life tap too much against MechMage, but we've got to do what you got to do. We really don't want to do nothing, and we really need cards in our hand while we can get them for cards like Mountain Giant and Twilight Drake. Alright, let's see what he's got here. Hopefully he's MechMage. So that's the video I want to make. Come on, MechMage. Yeah, alright. Alright, so he just plays a Mech Warper. Probably like Coin and Noyatron, is my guess. Look at that. Spot on. It's like I've played the deck before. Alright, so... Alright, what we really wanted to draw there was a Dark Blast for this, but we didn't get it, so we'll life tap again. Alright, that's a pretty decent draw. Second zombie chow. We can do stuff with that. So we'll chuck it out there. Alrighty, so this hand's not too bad. Next turn we can play Drake, and then follow it up with like Sludge Belcher. Then we've got some removal and heal, and then a late game bomb. And we've got some taunt givers if we need it. So our hand's really not too bad. Alright, so he's used up one Frostbolt, so it's important to remember that one's already gone. Alright, he decides to kill off the zombie chow with his Mech Warper, so if we had Mortal Coil we'd be sitting pretty, but we don't, which is okay. We're just going to play this Twilight Drake and pass the turn, and that was an excellent draw here. So here if he floods the board with Mech Warper, or like plays Goblin Blast Mage, we've got a pretty decent follow-up. We'll just have to see what happens. We really do want to try and get value out of this, so if we can. Alright, one Fireball down. This is very, very good for us. So guys, burn countdown. Remember, you got to keep track of this stuff. What are we at? One Frostbolt gone, one Fireball gone. Remember guys, you got to keep track of it. So there we're just going to play Twilight Drake. We don't really need the taunt yet, and even though it's a little bit less mana efficient, lets us put more pressure on his board, like it can kill a Spider Tank for example, where Belcher can't. And as you can see, we really need to pressure these 4 health minions. 4 health is like the magic number when you're playing against MechMage. Alright, so because we drew this, we've got a pretty good turn in that we can life tap. This is probably going to be the last time that we use life tap into Ancient Watcher, into Sun Fury Protector. And then we're just going to kill off the Technician. And so we're in a pretty good spot here. We're still at 19, which is heaps against MechMage opponent. He's already used 2 burn spells, and we've got a pretty sick board. Yeah, so can't really ask for much more at this stage of the game against MechMage, although he is teching a Black Knight, which is kind of annoying. But Twilight Drake did manage to get a 2-for-1 here, which is pretty sweet. And here we'll be able to use the Sun Fury Protector to finish off that Mech Warper. And here we can just play out this Sludge Belcher. If we do that, he's going to probably be able to just hit it and ping something. But the other heart, whatever he doesn't ping, is going to be able to trade off with the Black Knight, so we're pretty happy with that. We're going to want to save this Siphon Soul for if he plays like Dr. Boom or Antonidas next turn, or something like that. So the only last thing to think about is whether or not we want to life tap. And to be honest, we can probably afford to here since he's already used so much burn, and because we've got 2 heals in hand already, plus the extra life from the Siphon Soul, so I am going to go ahead and life tap here. But if, say we didn't have any heal bots or something in hand, then I definitely wouldn't be life tapping there, guys. So again, with this deck, a lot of plays are sort of circumstantial. It's a lot more difficult to play a deck like this generally than an aggressive deck. Alright, so he decides to time Rewinder. Here's Black Knight and then replay it, which is a pretty sweet play, I gotta admit. Not too shabby at all. So here we probably, we're just going to play out this Schneed's Old Shredder. We don't care if he kills off the slime for free. We just want to get our big guy out there. And then no point attacking into the Black Knight, so we're just going to go face with both of those. We could have put the Sun Fury Protector into the Black Knight just because he's probably just going to ping it off anyway. We're not going to get much value from it. And that would have opened us up to plays like Hellfire. But in general, I'm okay trying to get some face damage in. One of the things about MechMage is it can't really afford to run any heal. So we generally need to sort of know when to swerve. And sort of when to stop focusing on being purely defensive and when to just start going face. Okay, so here he's played a secret, so it's almost certainly a mirror entity, which is fine with us. Alright, we draw a Mortal Coil. So here I'm actually just going to attack face here and then Shadow Flame to kill off both his minions with the Schneed's Old Shredder. So it's just a matter of whether we want to use the Mortal Coil to finish off the Water Elemental or use the Sun Fury Protector. And I'm going to use the Mortal Coil, even though it's probably better to use the Sun Fury, simply because this is probably the best opportunity we're going to get to use the Mortal Coil. Although then again, if you think about it, so there's a lot of plays to make with this deck, guys. There's a lot of decisions to make every single turn. We really don't want him to get value out of the ping, so I think we're actually happy just attacking there. So we'll attack there, attack face. Shadow Flame this off to kill both of these. Hopefully we get Kel'Thuzad. Tyrion, that I can live with. So here it's just a matter of whether we want to do anything else. Here I think we're pretty happy playing a heal bot, even if it gives him a 3/3. We need to trigger the mirror entity at some stage anyway, and a 3/3 is pretty below average for this deck. He's certainly never ever going to be getting like an 8/8 or something from this deck, simply because it's just so easy to play around mirror entity. That's why my decks stopped playing it, because it's just not worth playing anymore. Alright, so here he gets a pretty decent Goblin Blast Mage. He gets to kill that off. Alright, and then he Frostbolts. So that's 2 Frostbolts down, guys, 1 Fireball down. So we've only got to worry about the Fireball now, which is pretty sweet. Here we can just Hellfire to kill everything off and then finish off the Blast Mage with a Mortal Coil. And then from there he's down to 2 cards. We're going to have a ton more than him. So yeah, we're in a pretty sick position here. We're also going to get the weapon off Tyrion. So it's Mortal Coil this, see what we draw. If we like a Sludge Belcher or something, nope. Can't win them all. So we're just going to attack face and heal right back up to 27 and get a minion on board. And then we are looking pretty good here, guys. He's only got 1 Fireball left in the deck. He's going to need something like Archmage Antonidas to really win this game. And he's already down to 14 as well. So even if he has the Archmage and say like the Stealth spare part, we're doing pretty well here. Alright, so he decides to just play a Mad Scientist, ping the Antique Healbot and pass the turn. So here I'm just going to play out the Ancient Watcher and the Mountain Giant and just go face. We just really want to threaten lethal now. And we can do that in a couple of ways now. He basically needs to kill our entire board to not die. Because even if he leaves us with just the Ancient Watcher, we can silence the Ancient Watcher and then finish him off with an attack plus our weapon. And from 27, we're certainly not going to lose anytime soon with him only having 1 Fireball left. And for some reason, guys, Leroy Jenkins isn't standard yet. It's been really sick for me in MechMage, but no one else has seemed to pick it up, which is a bit of a shame. Alright, let's see what he's got. Looks like Flame Strike. Flame Strike's pretty solid here. Not too bad, not too bad. And he's going to need to have something else to follow it up though. Alright, so he pings it off, leaves us with the giant. Alright, so we'll just start off by attacking. See. Yep, okay guys, so that was an ice block, so we win that one. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in game 2. G'day YouTube. Alright, game 2. So here we're going to keep Twilight Drake and Dark Bomb, and get rid of the Owl and the Shredder. So this time we'll have an answer for the early Mech Warper. And that's a pretty good hand. So we've got the Ancient Watcher as well, and a Siphon Soul, which is pretty nice. Alrighty. No turn 1 play, let's get to business. No turn 1 play for us either. There's no point using the coin to here when we have no real good follow-up to the Ancient Watcher. Like maybe if we had Iron Beak Owl or Sun Fury Protector, it'd be worth it. But it's not just worth doing it blind without either of them. Alright, so he plays Mech Warper, turn 2, hopefully nothing else. Alright. We came prepared. So we just Dark Bomb that and pass. And then next turn we'll have the option of either life tapping or playing the coin and Twilight Drake. And we're probably going to just want to coin out the Twilight Drake. We want to get to the board and establish some board presence ASAP. And that way we can sort of minimize the damage that we take by just clearing every turn. Alright, so he plays a Harvest Golem, and we'll do the play. So we're going to coin out this Twilight Drake. Sadly it is a 4-6 rather than a 4-7, which means he can just fireball it for free, or as a 1-for-1. But we're not too unhappy if he does that, just because that's one fireball down, and it's one fireball that can't go at our face. Alright, so let's see here. His worst play, apart from Fireball, for us is probably like Mechanical Yeti, simply because we can't kill it with our Twilight Drake very easily. Piloted Shredder would be somewhat annoying, but not too bad. Alright, Goblin Blast Mage. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. We can just trade off for the Blast Mage here without too big of a deal, and then we draw our Protector and the Watcher, which is also pretty nice. So here we could actually kill off the Harvest Golem if we wanted to, and then taunt up. But there's not really that much point doing that, because the 2-1's just going to go in, and we'd rather use the Twilight Drake to trade off with the Blast Mage. So we're going to do that, and then I think we're just going to keep adding to the board here. We are going to need to life tap a couple of times though this game. I mean, we just don't really have enough cards to win. This deck really thrives on having as many cards as possible, because like at the moment we've technically got like 2 cards in our hand, one we can't cast yet, simply because these are just like not really that good early game. He hasn't done enough damage to us yet for us to get any use out of these guys. Alright, so here he plays a Loatheb, which isn't really too bad. We draw a Sludge Belcher, which is pretty good. We're just going to play it and attack his face for 2 here. So next turn we're probably going to be able to get a pretty good Hellfire off. Might do some damage to our cards, but it should be able to give us a full board clear, hopefully. Otherwise, we've got like Siphon Soul for the Loatheb, or we just life tap. Alright, we'll see what happens. Alright, so far so good for the Hellfire play. Let's see what else he does. Alright, so he decides to Fireball off the Ancient Watcher, which is pretty good for us. That's one Fireball down. Alright, so this is a pretty good Hellfire turn here. We're going to start off by life tapping though, just to see what we draw. That's a pretty good draw, so it's going to give us a late game bomb that we can play. So here we're just going to take the Divine Shield off and Hellfire. Sadly he does get to get the Golem, but we can't do too much about that. Alright, so he has the second Mech Warper. And we're actually happy to take some damage here, because it means we're going to be able to play these Molten Giants. Alright, so he's played out his whole hand here, basically. And what do we draw? We draw a Sylvanas. So our options this turn are either playing Sylvanas or a Siphon Soul. So he has 2, 4, 8, 11 damage on board. And 11 damage, guys, is a lot of damage. We can't really afford to take that. So if we play the Siphon Soul, we'd be at 22. And then taking at least 7, so 22 take away 7 is 15. And that means that we would be able to play a Molten Giant if we wanted, or a Schneed's Old Shredder. So here I'm pretty sure we just have to Siphon Soul the Mechanical Yeti. Just try and minimize the damage that we take a little bit. You could play Sylvanas there if you wanted to, but it's just a little bit risky for my taste. Although it would allow you to next turn have a pretty good turn of like Molten Giant plus Defender of Argus, which would be a pretty solid turn. Alright, that's actually sick for us. That was really, really sick for us. But at the same time, guys, you just can't really afford to play around the Molten Giants, because as you can see, I've only really seen 17 cards in our deck, so it's pretty unlikely that we'd have 2. But, look at that. So we could play out Sylvanas here, but then of course we just die to the attacks. We really need to taunt up here. Thankfully, MechMage doesn't generally play like Big Game Hunter or anything like that, so this should be able to halt his aggression pretty well. We do need to draw a heal here. And this is sort of what I was talking about when I was playing the other side, guys. One problem with playing Handlock against MechMage is you do need a lot of the cards to win. So you really need the big minions like we've got here. You need the Taunt Givers, and you still need the heal to win. So if we draw like an antique heal bot or something, we're going to be in an excellent shape to win. But if we don't, we're in a bit of trouble. But thankfully, it looks like he needs to fully clear here, which is good for us. So that one Molten Giant's already got a 2-for-1, which we're super happy about. Looks like he might have the second Fireball here. Oh, Harrison Jones. Okay, that's not too bad. And he has a ping. Alrighty. So we draw a Sun Fury Protector here, which is pretty good. We're just going to continue to taunt up to make sure that we can't lose. So we'll play out Sylvanas. One thing here is we could trade off with the Harrison Jones, but that means that the Spider Tank's probably going to be able to trade off with the Defender of Argus for free, which we don't really want. So we could hit the Spider Tank with the Molten Giant, but then he can trade with the Sylvanas and we don't get any Sylvanas value, but I think we're okay with him doing that. So we're going to send this into the Spider Tank. We've got 1 damage left here, so I'm actually going to put it on the Defender of Argus and attack. So here we really need to try and get him down as quickly as we can before he can draw enough burn to finish us off. Thankfully he's already used 1 Fireball, so he's not too likely to kill us off with burn, and we've got a bunch of taunts here. Yep, so he just kills that off. He's probably going to ping the Molten Giant here, so he can just ping it off again next turn. And plays a Cogmaster. So that's not too bad for us here. So we're just going to play out the rest of our hand. Whoa, that was a big mistake. Sorry about that, guys. Autopiloted there a little bit. I would have preferred to play out the Sneed's Old Shredder instead of the Twilight Drake, obviously, but I wasn't thinking. So sorry about that, guys. Not too big of a deal here, although it's worth noting that it would have actually given us exactly lethal, whereas now we're 1 off, which is pretty annoying. But let's see what he has here. Alright, so he draws Archmage Antonidas, pings that off. Alright, so here we're probably going to need to trade off with the Archmage, just to be 100% safe. But if I had played the Sneed's Old Shredder, we would have won this game, guys. We would have had exactly 10. So sorry about that, guys. My bad. Hopefully it doesn't cost us the game. So that's just a really good example there, guys, of I'm actually going to play out this Ironbeak Owl too, just for the extra damage, to make sure that we're threatening lethal next turn. So that just goes to show, guys, that you really need to take a second and think through your plays rather than just slamming cards down as quickly as you can. Alright, so here he has to ping off the Ironbeak Owl to not die, which is okay for us. Alright, we happen to draw the Dark Bomb to kill him, which is pretty good for us. So we played that game pretty well, guys. The only misplay was not playing the Shredder. But apart from that, guys, that's how you generally win. You just need to try and keep that board presence down. Make sure you're mulliganing correctly. And just hope that he doesn't have the burn to finish you off. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.